Got it? I'll craft asterisk the botanist's reckoning asterisk exactly in the high-impact, emotionally gripping format you specified, using George Blackman's urgent conversational tone. Here's your story. The botanist's reckoning asterisk. Gripping hook. They didn't just reject my research proposal, they laughed. Right there in the packed lecture hall, the head of the department smirked and called it weed tinkering. My life's work, years of soil samples, field notes, midnight readings, reduced to a punchline. The words academic dismissal echoed in my ears, but it wasn't the paperwork that hurt. It was the way my peers looked at me, not as a scientist, but as a misguided dreamer chasing plants no one cared about. In that moment, I realized they weren't just closing a door, they were locking it, throwing away the key, and daring me to survive outside. The painful departure and relentless pursuit asterisk. I left the university the next morning. No farewell party, no sentimental goodbyes, just an empty office and a stack of boxes in the trunk of my car. And yet, as I drove away, something burned inside me. If they thought asterisk weeds were useless, I would prove them catastrophically wrong. I spent the next year in isolation, testing, failing, starting over, on a patch of land so neglected it was considered a lost cause. The soil was heavy with toxins from decades of industrial dumping. Nothing valuable could grow there, but the plants I'd studied, the hardy, overlooked species everyone dismissed, thrived. I watched their roots reach deep, drawing poisons out of the earth, slowly restoring what everyone else had abandoned. There were nights I questioned myself, standing in the cold with dirt under my nails, wondering if I'd traded a career for a fantasy. But each sunrise brought new shoots, stubborn and green against the grey wasteland, and I knew this was no fantasy, this was a fight. The arduous ascension and profound triumph asterisk. It took 3 years. 3 years of storms flattening my plots, of skeptical landowners refusing to listen, of grant applications stamped denied. But then one breakthrough. A contaminated riverside park slated for closure was given to me as a final test. I planted my useless species. In months, the soil test showed a drop in heavy metals. In a year, native wildlife returned, fox tracks in the mud, herons by the water's edge. Families came back with picnic baskets. Children played where warning signs once stood. Word spread, environmental agencies called. My methods, phytomediation with resilient plants, were suddenly not only legitimate but essential asterisk. What was once ridiculed as impractical became a cornerstone in combating pollution. The cathartic return and poetic justice asterisk. The invitation came from the very department that had dismissed me. They wanted me to present my findings at the same lecture hall where I'd been humiliated. I stood at the podium, looking at the familiar faces, some older, some exactly as I remembered. I spoke not with anger but with quiet certainty. I showed photos of restored land, of water running clear, of communities reborn. I ended with this: even the smallest, most overlooked life can heal what others deem beyond saving. The applause was long, unbroken. No one called it weed tinkering. Walking out into the sun that day, I realized vindication isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right and giving the world back something it didn't know it had lost. If you'd like, I can now adapt this into a YouTube-optimized script with pacing notes and retention hooks asterisk, so it feels like a visual, cinematic journey for your audience. Would you like me to do that next?